Transformers number 12, probably the most emotional issue we have so far. It's kind of weird saying that coming from a Transformers comic, but they pulled it off. You got Shockwave. He's got the portal. You know, he's trying to steal all of Earth's resources and pull it into Cybertron. You got the Autobots, like, we got to stop them right now. Prime's worried about Cliffjumper and Jazz. They're being held captive. All this stuff is going on. Let's get into it. We begin with Carly. She's at the home base and she sees that Devastator has been formed. And the first thing that comes to her mind is Cliffjumper. Remember, they had a moment, you know, and she was mad at him because he didn't kill Starscream, who killed her father. But you could see that she's like, no, I care about this guy right now, and I've got to help them. Then we see Shockwave. He's taken over, in my opinion. He's leading the Decepticons. He kind of overstepped Soundwave, who was voted the leader. And he's like, I got Devastator. Now it's time, Soundwave. Let's be done with the Autobots. And we see him transform into his gun mode. Him and Megatron. And according to Transformers lore, when Megatron or Shockwave transform into their guns, it's one of the most powerful weapons you could use. Now, I don't know which one is more powerful. I would love to know what you think. Is it Megatron or is it Shockwave? But anyway, it was awesome to see. And then we get to the Autobots, still dazed and confused about Ultra Magnus. It looks like they're in a pit and they're getting shot at from every direction. Remember, in the last issue, Ultra Magnus was their backup. And what a backup to have. A freaking warrior general, but he saw Shockwave, the Decepticon that's tortured him for 150 years, and he freaked out, he panicked, he left. We then see Carly. She gets into her van and she drives through the portal, or she's heading towards the portal. While the Autobots are holding their ground, Wheeljack's like, hey, where are those charges? And Prime's like, Alita set them, but I'm not gonna blow them up as long as Cliffjumper is so close. We gotta get Cliffjumper out. And in comes Carly. The van goes through the portal. Soundwave is holding Cliffjumper, doesn't know what he's seeing, and with her van just crashes into Soundwave, who drops Shockwave and Cliffjumper. It just pushes him back, and Cliffjumper grabs onto the van, and you can see the look on his face is like, oh my gosh, Carly. And Carly's like, hey, bud, and they're trying to talk, and immediately Devastator comes out of nowhere and smashes the van, knocking Cliffjumper off. Optimus Prime sees that the Decepticons are distracted. He rallies the troops, sends them into charge, and now you have Cliffjumper worried about Carly. You know, she's fallen down, and she could be hurt because she's human. Devastator just picks up the busted up van with Cliffjumper, and I don't know where Carly is, and just freaking throws it like a baseball into the portal. You can see Prime's like, what? Cliffjumper, what are you doing? The Combaticons are on the other side of the portal, and they're like, we got to get into the fight. But before they can even finish, all that stuff that Devastator went through and knocked them all out, and he's just kind of laughing. Now, if you didn't know, Devastator is a combiner where they have the 6 Transformers combined into one giant Decepticon, right? Called Devastator. Combaticons are also a combiner. They transform into Bruticus. So there's probably a little tension between the two combiners as who the top dog is, but that's a lore thing we can get into another time. I got my money on Bruticus simply because in the cartoon series, he was created by my man Starscream. Anyway, you see Optimus Prime. He screams, now Alita, uses the arm cannon and shoots Devastator in the face. Alita's transformed into her motorcycle, and she wraps around Devastator's leg, kind of like an Empire Strikes Back when they're on Hoth, and that's how they took out the AT-ATs. Devastator falls on the harvesting machine, so now they can't harvest energy from Earth and bring it to Cybertron. Shockwave kind of sees like things are not going well, and he runs through the portal. And they're saying, Prime, we got to blow this portal up because Cybertron is coming through the portal into Earth's atmosphere. And he's like, I can't leave without Cliffjumper. Prime goes through the portal. He's like, I'm not going to leave them, my man, again. Optimus Prime takes on everyone in the room, and it's not even close. He's knocking them down. He's shooting behind his back. He's taking them, and they run. They're like, he's too strong. I can't take them. Shockwave's like, cowards, get back here and fight. And here we have it. Prime versus Shockwave again, and Prime's not playing this time. He's like, come on then. Come on. And Shockwave's like, if you take another step, I'm going to shoot. And it's too late. Prime's like, yeah, whatever. You know, this is who you are. What's wrong with you? How come you don't treat life with respect? He grabs Shockwaves, just starts pounding him in the face, and then something happens. Something takes over Prime, and he's get this memory of a human child, and he doesn't think clearly. He's got Shockwave in his hands, and he just smashes his face, and that is the end of Shockwave. Sorry to all my Shockwave fans. Trust me, I'm with you. We lost Starscream. Now Shockwave is done, and even Cliffjumper's like, Optimus, and Optimus can't believe what he did. Alita 1 shows up and is like, I finally see your old self returning. And he's beginning to explain to her, he's like, that's not who I am. I'm not like this. And he's like, we gotta blow up the portal. Let's go. And before he goes through the portal, Alita 1 takes her weapon and destroys it. She had a second plan all along. He's like, what are you doing? And she's like, listen, we need you here. The Autobot resistance needs you here. She's like, look, Prime, look at all this energon that we have. We can help save Cybertron. And Prime is like, not like this. This is when things get a little emotional. He's like, this is not who we are. We don't do it like this. Prime then tries to blow up the system because he thought Alita 1 had put the chargers, and she did what she was told by the leader of the Autobots. But no, she had a different plan. Her plan was to keep the energon that was harvested off all the living things in the sea and use it for the Autobot resistance. Completely what Prime didn't want. And he's like, we cannot do this. We will not feed Cybertron with the blood of their planet. And she's like, listen, our planet is thirsty and it is dying. Think of what we could do with this. Prime then has to make the ultimate decision about his home planet. He says, look, Earth needs us. It needs us. And she's like, please, your people need you. And he's got his gun pointing at all the energons, and Alita's trying to beg and plead with Prime. I need you. He looks at Alita and says, I'm sorry. He's like, please don't do. And before anything, he shoots his gun and blows up all the energon. And Alita looks back at him and says, you choose. You chose Earth over us, over your own home planet, over your people. And Prime is just spinning off into space with a little chunk of Cybertron that's heading into the Earth's atmosphere. If this is the end of my spark, then I thank the Primes that this will be my last sight. And you see a voice off into the distance. He goes, this place reveals so much beauty, and it's Beachcomber. Beachcomber to the rescue. Prime looks over, reaches out his hand, and Beachcomber grabs him, and he's just riding his surfboard right out of harm's way. And Prime is like, what have I done? What have I done? And that, ladies and gentlemen, is the end of Transformers number 12. It also brings us to the end of Volume 2. And while I try to get my thoughts out there, look at these different covers that you could buy with this issue. That's one thing that I love about this series, is you can get a different cover that you might like. They did a lot of Starscream covers that I collected for the different issues, and I love it. But I could see now why Alita is very upset with Prime, because she wants him to lead the Autobots resistance, to take back Cybertron, to get that planet fixed. And the fact that someone that she looked up to, turned his back, I guess you could say that, on Cybertron to say we've got to defend Earth, just crushed her. You know, and now Prime is questioning himself, what has I done? But that is who Optimus Prime is. He will not do things the wrong way. If it is the wrong way, he would rather destroy it and come back and do it the right way. I love how they have written the characters in this series. It just gets better and better. Look out. I'm going to release a volume 2, which is issue 7 through 12, just in one big video. And then we'll kick it back up and start with number 13. But what do you guys think? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. I absolutely am loving this series, and we'll catch you next time.